In these next questions, you have prodrugs. They are compounds, they are inactive compounds, but they are easily converted in the body to the active drug by enzyme hydrolysis. So they will break down in the human body when they come across the enzyme, and then they will become active. Complete the molecular formula, the actual number of atoms in one single molecule. So you got to read skeletal formula. That is a skill from AS chemistry. So calculate the carbon. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So there are 24 carbons. They already counted the hydrogen for us, so there's the difficult bit actually, and complicated bit. Now the nitrogen. The nitrogen, there is 1 nitrogen, 2 nitrogen, and there are 2 nitrogens. And the oxygen there's 1, there's 2, there is 3. So there are 3 oxygens. Okay, hopefully that makes sense there. I'm just going to remove all the colors because they might just be confusing for you in a bit. Now compound W contains a benzene ring. Name 3 other functional groups that are not benzene. So we have an amine. This thing here is amine. This thing here is amine. This thing here is ester. This thing here is benzene. This thing here next to the CO carbonyl is carbon and carbon. So this thing is ketone. So what do we have? We have ester, we have ketone, we have amine. Those are the 3 other functional groups, apart from benzene, which they already provided in the first bit of the question. On the diagram above, use an arrow. The bond that will be hydrolyzed, the bond, so singular. So I don't want to circle or anything. So, I'm just going to draw an arrow. So this arrow there will cut through that CO single bond of the ester, because that is where you will hydrolyze the ester. This is the bond that you form in the condensation reaction to form ester. This is the bond that you need to break when you hydrolyze the ester there. And I'm going to label this. This is C part 1, where you break the ester bond, you hydrolyze the ester bond, and you get a carboxylic acid and alcohol. Hang on. You know that this is OH bonded to a phenol, so that one is going to be weakly acidic, and then carboxylic acid is also a weak acid. So it depends on what we get really. So they don't mention whether we're doing acid or base hydrolysis. They just say the likely products. So if we assume it to be acidic hydrolysis, so what is the product that you will get? Well, complete the whole thing there. So follow the diagram. So I'm just going to draw the thing there. But of course, if you are on a paper, it's so much easier to just draw directly rather than wasting your time drawing here. But I'm not working on a paper, I'm working on a screen. So it's a lot easier for me to actually do this while seeing the structure here, instead of going back and forth, up and down, and giving you a bit of a headache. Count the carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, always be able to count your carbons, because people can make mistake. I can make mistake with counting carbon as well. So that thing that will give you back the alcohol, which is OH. That is the carboxylic acid. The carboxylic acid loses the OH, and the alcohol loses the H when they come together, condense together to give you your ester. So I'm starting to draw the ring fragment now. Working on the screen has its advantage. I can move things around when I run out of space. When you're in a real exam, you might not have that luxury, because you need to think about what you're gonna draw and what you're gonna write. Otherwise, you'll be wasting time writing and erasing and doing all over again. Okay, so my diagram is not like very, very pretty, but it gives you the idea actually, because you can count the carbons. Drawing skeletal formula, you're not going to draw the display formula for this. You can, but you'll be wasting quite a lot of time to get that 2 marks there, so be very careful. Yeah. So this is the very last bit of this paper actually, the very last bit of these questions. So what features? So this is plural. I wonder why they give plural, and I guess that's why, because there are 2 marks. So plural, more than one feature. and explain your answer. And you want it to be water soluble. So to make something soluble in water, usually you're thinking about, is it ions or it's hydrogen bond? So when you talk about hydrogen bond, usually we talk about simple covalent, and then we think about ions when we have ionic compounds. When we have ions, we can think about ion dipole bond. So sort of like how NaCl and other ionic compound can dissolve in water. Think of hydrogen bond, that's usually how simple covalent molecules can dissolve in water. So what part of this molecule W makes it soluble in water? Well, the amine can form hydrogen bond, that thing can form hydrogen bond. Ester cannot form hydrogen bond. Do not talk about ester because the hydrogen is not bonded to the oxygen. What else? Where you have ketones that can form permanent dipole with water, but that is not going to help very much with solubility. So what can we say about that? Molecule W has amines functional group that can form hydrogen bond with water. And in doing so, this can help to solubilize it, help it to be soluble in water. Alright, so that's it really for these 2 marks questions and for this n-mark question. And that's it really for this paper in general. This is paper 4.3 for this October-November 2015. Just be aware that I didn't cover every single question here because there were some questions like the biochemistry bit in the section B. Of course, there's no more section B in the real 2022 exam onwards. In fact, from the 2016 onwards, there was no more section B, and there was a lot more chemistry than the biology and whatnot. But some of these older papers, they have really good questions as well. So don't be afraid to try all the papers, but just be aware that you don't need to answer every single question, especially when you know what the syllabus, current syllabus actually involve, and you should know the current specification anyway, since you completed the entire syllabus before you do any exam questions. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the button on the bottom right to subscribe to my channel. Follow me at ptet.chemistry on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram. And yeah, do share the channel widely with other people, friends, juniors, families, relatives, and do consider upgrading to the silver tier on the channel in order to access all the yearly paper tutorials for the price of a cup of coffee. So thank you for supporting my work. Thank you for supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next tutorial video.